Alright, good morning, guys. So, last time you guys saw me, I was at 10 Mile Creek Road, just outside of Yachats. I made it to Florence, finally. There was just a couple things I wanted to touch on. The 10 Mile Creek meadow that I camped at. Across the street from where I was at, there was an actual big meadow. It was rather large. It was more or less a field. It was put there for access for equestrians and hikers, bikers. There's a sign at the entrance saying to protect a meadow. Which, where I camped at across the street, there was no sign, but if you ask me, it was more of a meadow than the field was. But it was kind of cool, though. That night I recorded the last video, there was a couple people that came into camp there in the big meadow, and I was curious. I was miles away from anyone, and I wanted to go talk to some other would-be campers. But when I went over there, I found there was this guy sitting in the field, and he had this spread laid out before him there, and I don't know, I thought they were just normal people, campers. They had a tent and a table with a Coleman stove and whatnot, but then across the field, a ways away from him, there was a woman, and she was sitting in the same manner on this blanket with the spread out in front of her. Well, it turned out that I could tell that they were doing some kind of ritual prayer or whatever. And then later on that night, I hear all this like singing and chanting going on. It was very mystical to hear this guy doing some kind of a tribal, I don't know, it reminded me of like an Indian tribal chanting or singing. And then he would stop, and the woman, you would hear her voice. It was pretty beautiful. And she would actually be singing. I couldn't make out the language. Might have been Gaelic, actually. They looked like they were some kind of Irish or Gaul descent. I think they were calling in the seasons, or perhaps maybe praying for the fires to stop burning the forests down. But that was cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna show you guys now where I am. Here's some really big trees here. Pretty sure these are all Douglas firs for the most part. I'm at a Honeyman something or another state park campground. It's the hiker biker campsite, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, we're literally just up here in this clearing on top of this little ridge here, away from the rest of the campers. It's pretty primitive. Again, nice burn pits there, but we can't have a fire. Yeah, the mountains are still on fire. Um, some other exciting news is that thanks to my loving and amazing father, he sent me some more cash, and I got a new SD card. So I've got 16 gigs of extra space now. I can record longer videos and more of them and take more pictures. I went to a Goodwill and I got some new clothes. If you can't notice, I've got a green shirt now. It's a turtleneck, but whatever. I'm trying to slowly get all different shades of green going on. I've got some Skull Candy earbuds, which is awesome. I can't describe how amazing it is to get away from cheap dollar store earbuds that have no quality sound. I love to listen to quality music. especially my music. And the green, they're awesome. Yeah, uh, take a walk over here to where I'm actually set up at. There's a trail that leads down to the road and to the ranger's registration office. It was $5 a night to camp here. I spent 3 days so I could have time to hike back the 3 miles into Florence to the library to post these videos. My tent, it's adorable, isn't it? I love it. It's dinosaurs. But you can actually see through it. It's very thin walled. But take a minute to go through my stuff so that you guys can actually see or get a feel for what all I actually carry. Um, these are gloves that I wear often when I'm walking with a walking stick and all. It kind of hurts my hands after a while. And there is Jeffy Mundaragan's knife that he gave me. That's the only skinning knife I actually possess anymore. Here's a fuel can. It's actually a water bottle, but that's what I keep my fuel in, either alcohol, fingernail polish remover, diesel, any kind of white fuel or something that's not as explosive as gasoline, which I could use gasoline if it came down to it. I don't normally keep this stuff in a can, but I got coffee the other day, so this is all random stuff. Extra lighters, matches, I got my compass, and even got fingernail clippers, a couple pencil sharpeners. There's just random stuff in there. This is an amazing thing for the would-be campers and hikers of the world packing light. This is a multi-seasoning kit. It doesn't weigh that much. There's just a little bit of everything on there. Make food taste not so bland. Thermos. It holds 3 cups of coffee for me in the mornings, and I got it at a pawn shop in Newport for $5. It's amazing. And this is my coffee drip thing. It uses the cones. It's a good apparatus. Kind of bulky to carry, but that's my camp bowl cup thing. That's useful. This is actually my new apparatus for alcohol stove. Um, it works quite nice actually to be able to just do that, and my pot can sit right on top of those tent stakes that I put there. Um, of course, there's my Smokey the Bear arm bracers that I have. You pot smokers of the world will get a kick of that. I got this thing here from some native out of Billings, Montana, in nickel bags. I love that. That's actually what I do keep my fire starting stuff in. This here is just a random little bag that I keep my fork and spoon in. I've got some extra tent stakes in there as well, a can opener, space blankets, because yeah, again, you can see through my tent and it gets kind of cold. Real quickly here, I've got cotton balls that I use for the alcohol stove as a wick. Sugar and powdered sugar. I've got a coffee bag. That's where I keep my coffee and filters and an assortment of tea. This is an essential thing to have here, is these big freezer bags for, you don't want to carry anything in boxes or anything with sharp corners or edges. Oatmeal, peanut butter, olive oil. I've got a bread bag there, the black one, yeah, that one. And sewing kit, ropes and cords. Got this pair of scissors here that I actually found on the side of the road. They're actually a good pair of Fiskars. They're heavy, but whatever. And this is kind of given to me at a South Beach campground, and I was taught how to use it. And this is the apparatus that I use to braid this rope that's around my waist. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Um, Another thing I do, because my Facebook page does say that I'm the nomadic druid, at nature conservation. And one of the things that I do, this stuff pouch there will stay right here most of the time. And I pick up cigarette butts on the side of the road when it's, easy for me to. And not only do I usually collect the tobacco out of the not so smoked cigarettes and don't look like they've been there for a while, but I actually put the filter, the remaining filter in that stuff sack. And when I get to a trash receptacle or an ashtray somewhere, I discard them. So yeah, that's nature conservation, right? Cleaning up the roadways one cigarette butt at a time. This is my water filtration kit. Kind of a must-have. I don't know if you guys can, well, here, I've got a hole that sprung a leak right there. And I actually patched up the hole with melted parachute cord and nylon, whatever, anything that can melt, and use as a glue. It kind of works, but, do what I got to do. Let's see, well, that's shampoo. You don't really need to care about that. This is not what it says it is. I've got an odd assortment of ibuprofen, Tylenol PM, caffeine pills, which are actually illegal in this state. I've got Dramamine in there too for, when I go sailing. Yeah, that happens. This is random trinkets like rocks and stuff I found. But David Goldaddy, if you're gonna see this, I hope you do. I found this on the side of the road. It's just a keychain, but I thought of you because you like fairies. So if you actually post a mailing address for me to my wall or message me, I will mail that to you because that's for you. This is my MSR pot. I got that from the hiker I met out of Alaska for $5. That's useful. And this is my solar panel. It's a Nomad Goal Zero, which is awesome. I've got the 12-volt car battery, whatever, charger there that actually puts out a better charge than the USB port does. And you can see it's a double panel. Works very nicely. Sometimes when I'm walking down the road, I can actually tether that via these little loops there to the back of my green stuff sack. So when I'm walking in the proper direction and the sun is on my back, then I can charge my phone while walking and listening to hiking music. And I'm actually reading The Hobbit right now, which is awesome. But it actually belongs to the Newport Library. I'll have to mail it back to them. And sunny Maine, I miss you. Sorry I didn't get to see you before we left. Now you, see that adorable guy? You're actually my bookmark right now because it was just convenient that I had a photo of you still, which I have a couple other photos of other people too to put away. And this is actually my tobacco bag. If you can see, I've got quite a bit of tobacco in there now. I'm not out anymore. When I was at the 10 Mile Creek Road, I had actually resorted to smoking dried dandelion leaves and a combination of dried blackberry leaves, which wasn't so bad. Neither one of them were such a horrible substitute for smoking tobacco. And something else cool, this backpack here. I replaced my heavy shoulder bag that was annoying with this bag here, which I don't really put anything in it. I just put my solar panel and anything that sits low and flat. That way I can still wear the cloak comfortably over it and throw a stuff sack over my shoulder. And yep, it's kind of a neon green. That's awesome, right? Yeah, you've already seen this. This is my nylon bag. All I have in there really is my clothing and my sleeping bag. Um, well, oh yeah, a green lighter too. It's awesome. I've got a pair of hair cutting scissors, which I plan on grooming myself a little bit before I take off. Something else to show you that I did, because I always like to take time to fix things. This is my canteen. I've had several problems with the strapping, so I actually replaced the straps on it altogether, more or less. I made this braided parachute cord rope thing with that device again. But I actually put these little, not really D-rings, but I don't know. It actually works quite nicely. It pays off to have a sewing kit and all that nonsense. It's been through hell. Yeah, one of the sides ripped off of it. There was actually forest moss growing on that at one point. Yeah, I've had it for a while. Well, getting to be too long of a video here, but I will do more. Before I go though, I will give you a brief lesson on some of the wild edibles around here, because this is kind of cool. I'm surrounded by them. These are evergreen huckleberries. This is what the shrubbery is here. There's not really, well, there's a few. Right time of year, those are edible. I mean, I guess you can't eat them now. And over here we have salal berries, which that's what a salal berry looks like. It's more or less a flower, but yeah, juices come out, and you can actually eat those. They're not bad. They're full of vitamin C. I'm not hungry. They resemble this berry here to think that might be them over there. They grow in the same area. It's a twin berry. The Indians would have used those as a purgatory because they are kind of toxic. They're not lethal, really, but if you eat something poisonous, they would give you some twin berries to eat to make you vomit and throw that up. A lot of people around here won't eat the salal berries because they confuse them with the twin berry. They look almost the same, but salal berries are cool because one of the other things the Indians used to do is they would take those and press them into little cakes so they could preserve them. Plus, they would use the juices and stuff to make dyes and inks or whatever. But so that's kind of cool. Um, yeah, I've got some more of this place I'll show you in another video. But for now, that's going to be it. So, yeah, until next time, guys, take care.